It says that a fossil is evidence of a plant or an animal that lived long ago. What do you think that means? Long ago. Well, it means millions of years ago. I'll show you. Let's continue to page 155. Page 155, it says about 300 million years ago, most of the plants on Earth were ferns, and these plants and others died and were buried under many layers of soil. It says on the next page that the bristlecone pine trees were growing 100 million years ago, and the oldest tree living today is almost 5,000 years old. Fossils show that these trees have changed very little. When it says that fossils are evidence of something that lived long ago, it's not only the animals but the plants that they believe to have lived millions of years ago. Okay, they think everything has been living and breathing on this planet over millions of years, and it's been changing, like morphing. All the creatures have been just morphing into all these different kind of creatures just over millions of years. This has been happening. This is 348 millions of years ago. This reef was home to corals and many other sea animals. So there we have it again. It really brings this up a lot, this millions of years thing, when it starts when it talks about the origin of these fossils, the origin of these plants, it always says, it lived millions of years ago. And if they want to describe it, they will use like modern examples of the plants, or study it, and say that this is what kind of ecosystem it lived in and such, and all the facts that are associated with reefs or with sea animals or anything else. There's facts about the sea animals and the plants and the ecosystems. Okay, those are on the facts table. But then it's like, where did they come from? Where did they originate from? And they will just kind of sweep that under the rug with their famous phrase, millions of years ago, which, by the way, means long ago and far away. It's in their imagination, because that's the only place that this fairy tale ever actually happens. It's in their mind. They like it. They love it to be true because it allows them to escape the judgment of God. They don't like that, so they kind of discount it with, what they masquerade as science. It's just a pseudoscience, though, and that's just not me saying that, like most of the scientific community, believes in this pseudoscience, but does that make it accurate? Does the majority get to decide what is right and wrong, especially when you look at science itself? The history of science is just filled with basically a bunch of dumbasses that didn't know what they were talking about, because it's all been modernized, and a lot of the theories of, 100 years ago just been completely trashed. So what about all the intelligence and stuff of those people who believe that big rocks fall faster than little rocks, or you should take out your blood in order to, get better? It'll better your health to just remove your blood. That's where, the red stripe on the barber's pole comes from, is because they were the bloodletters, and that's actually how George Washington died. They used to believe that the sun revolves around the earth, and that there's just so many things that they used to believe, and they've been disproven. So, there's paradigm shifts, but I'll tell you one thing. There's one paradigm shift, that just goes too far. It's beyond the line. It would take like a lot of money and a lot of political power to even overturn it at this point, because the agenda of evolution theory has overtaken the school systems. I mean, I showed you on part 1, you go check out the intro to this series, how the science curriculum in the county that I live in, for several grades, that shows that in the science class, when you're teaching science, there's courses, they're all laid out. And one of them is common ancestry. There's a course on common ancestry during one of the 4 semesters, that they have to take, in all of the grades 1 through 12. So several grades where it's required.